Good morning, Michael from Mo Monster Gaming, and today's Throwback Thursday. So I thought I'd have a quick look at my Masters of the Universe collection. So I've got quite a few. The figures are all mainly from when I was a kid, because I was quite fortunate. My parents bought me most of them, and then the vehicles and playsets came later when I was a little bit more grown up and earning my own money. So I'm going to start over here on my Horde shelf. So this is the Evil Horde. They are my personal favourite. As much as I like Skeletor and his crew, I did really like the Evil Horde. So there's Hordak, and he's on top of this giant mantis thing. The mantis I only got the other day, but Hordak I've had since I was a very small kid. And then here we've got Modulok, who you can take him apart and you can assemble him in all different ways, however you feel like. And then behind it I've actually got a steel sealed Modulok. And then here we have this guy, and he's like a mosquito, and he's got blood in his chest. I do have the gun somewhere, but I think it's ended up with my Toy Biz Marvel figures. And then this is the slime pit, and you could pour slime onto your figures, which was always very cool. Now everything is a little bit cluttered on these, because I should probably get rid of the Thundercats shelves, put them somewhere else, and then I could spread these guys out a bit more. But I like this guy, Mantenna, and his eyes come out. Always thought that was quite cool. And then behind him got the Horde Trooper. I only got one. If I ever get a chance, I'll try and pick up a few more and do an army of them. And then this guy with a big suction cup is Leech. And if you moistened him up correctly, you could actually stick him to glass. The suction cup was strong enough. And then I've got Grizzlaw here, whose only action feature was fur. So maybe not the best action feature, but man, he looks cool. And then there's another one still in his packet, still on the card. Let's put Leech back up the top here. So most of these are like 40 odd years, 35, 40 years old. Anyway, underneath these guys, I've got some more Horde, and I've got the Snake Men. So this is another guy like Modulok that you can take apart, and you can actually assemble him. That's multi-bot, and you can assemble him with Modulok. The bits go together. And then this is Dragster, and you actually can pull a ripcord through him, and he's got a wheel on his chest, and he drags along the floor. And then behind him is that's Buzzsaw Hordak. His chest explodes and out fires a buzzsaw. And then before I get to the Snake Men, got a little stack of Ladybird books here, because I was collecting them as a kid. And then the best thing about He-Man is, as a kid, they came with comics. Now the comics didn't necessarily match the contents of the cartoon, nor did they match the contents of the British comic. I've got loads of the British comic, but they're all in the mother-in-law's loft. But he was more of a Conan the Barbarian kind of character. In fact, in the early ones, he didn't even turn into Prince Adam. That came later. But yeah, got lots of these little comics as well. Don't have all of them. I've got quite a few. Anyway, so this is the Snake Men. Now, that is not Snake Men. That is a modern Strider. I've got the original one on a different shelf, but that's a modern Strider. But anyway, this is King Hiss. He's the leader of the Snake Men. His front and stuff clips off to reveal his snaky face. This is Tongue Lasher. His tongue comes out. Whoops. His weapon's fallen down the stairs. And then this guy, Snake Face. Quite like Snake Face. He's all opens up, and his chest pops out as well. I can't really do it while holding the camera, but his chest pops out, and he's got snakes on his belly. And then this guy here doesn't look like a Snake Man, but he's actually made by the Snake Man people. He's Detonator, and you sort of push a thing and he explodes. So he's quite good. He was one of the last ones to come out. And then up the top, we've got a guy whose head pops out, Rattler. And then we've got Squeeze, who has these really annoying arms that make him very difficult to do anything with. So sorry, it's a bit dark in there. So then going over onto the good guys, there's He-Man on Battle Cat. He's a classic. He's exactly what he should look like. And then here we have Orko, the magician, one of the other people that knows He-Man's secret, who came with a magic trick, which is quite cool. Can't do the trick, but he came with a little magic trick. There's Ram Bam. He's got springs for legs, Teela behind, and then this guy's Extender. So he was taking Mechaneck, who's on a different shelf, to a whole new level. Mechaneck's neck goes up. This guy, his legs, his arms, and even his shield expand. So he's quite cool. And then up the top there is Buzz Off. So that's actually my second Buzz Off. My first one lost his arm in a freak accident with a dog. Not my dog. I didn't have a dog. So yeah, that's Buzz Off. And then Roboto and Stratos. And then over here, Manny Faces, who actually I didn't have a kid. He's one of the ones that I picked up later. His Faces turn, and he's got a robot face and a human face. And then there's Fisto at the back. Zor, bird. Prince Adam. Snout Spout, who's like a fireman. And then at the back, because he doesn't stand up very well anymore, Man-at-Arms. And then I believe one of the few She-Ra things I've got is I've got the actual She-Ra comic. But I never had any She-Ra toys. This actually is She-Ra's sword, but I was in a junk shop, and for £10 in the junk shop, picked up a box of weapons, loads of vehicles, Castle Grayskull, and the Astral Moat Monster's wings. So best tenner I think I've ever spent. Now down here we got more, so again, apologies for it being a bit cluttered, but here's Gwildor. He's one of the few film figures that I've got. And then there's King Randor, He-Man's dad. I want to say that's Thunder Punch He-Man, Flying Fists He-Man, and then this guy, he's on stilts over there, you can't see because of my lighting, I do apologise. And then this is Rio Blast, it's like a space cowboy. And then Mossman, whose only power was to be mossy. Apparently he smelled a pine, but oh man, I don't remember that as a kid. In fact, I don't remember him smell as anything. All I do know is I think he's my second one as well, because they go a bit sticky and they go a bit funny. I think the glue and the moss weren't built to last. And there's Mechaneck over there, and then Cyclone, and then these guys are Stondar and Roton, and they transfer. Whoa, he's going to fall. I'll do it like that. And inside they fold up and they transform into they transform from humanoid alien warriors to rocks. So obviously the most popular transforming toy of the 80s was Rock Lords, so He-Man obviously felt like they had to copy it. And then this guy also transforms. This is a Meteorb, and he came on like a little blister card, and he turns into like an egg. I think it's supposed to be like a meteor, but he turns into basically like an egg. And I don't remember too much. I had him as a kid, and yeah, he was a pain to transform. And then over here, this is Skeletor's shelf. So there's Skeletor on Panther, who, unlike Mossman, his fur is nice and good as it should be. Triclops, Beastman, Trapjaw, and Whiplash, classic assortment. And then over there's Merman, who doesn't stand up, so he has to sit on the horse. And then this is Scareglow. Scareglow's quite cool. Glows in the dark. The evil ghost of Skeletor from the future. And he was a pain to get. He's actually one that I got as a teenager. I didn't have him as a kid. Took me a while to find him, so he's quite cool, and he really glows in the dark. He glows in the dark super good. When I used to have him in my bedroom, you could see him across the room. And then finally down here we have a few more of Skeletor's evil forces. Got Whiplash, who's kind of spider themed, goes up on a rope, grapples up, There's the grappling hook down there. Jitsu. This is not my original Cobra Khan. I left my original Cobra Khan in the garden, and my mum lawnmowed him, and he lost part of his head. He lost a leg, and he had all marks on his chest. So poor Cobra Khan's, that one's in the garage because I couldn't get rid of it. And this is a newer one that I got some years later. It's Evil Lynn. I quite like this vehicle. Whoa, Cobra Khan's fallen. I'll stand him up. And this is the thing, they are a pain to balance. I need to get some of those little things that you can stand them up on good. And then what we got? So we got some more of the little comics. These are really cool. These are really cool. What's this one? Oh, this is the Talon Fighter of Point Dread. And they're just, the artwork's good. I know DC was involved in the actual American comics. I don't know whether they were involved in these as well. But yeah, very, very cool. Cobra Khan's fallen over again. Let's stand him up. Oh, let's put that back. And there we go. Got the annual at the back. Stand him up there. And then Faker Spikor, power of rubber spikes. Stinkor. And then this guy, Twistoid. Twistor, who's a Twistoid. And he, in theory, would spin like a top. Except I could never get it to work. Got a funny little stand that you can stand up on as well over there. I never could get it to work. And then along the top, so got this vehicle here that bashes, and then a Zodak. He is one of the commemorative ones they did in the, I want to say, early 2000s. And then this Castle Grayskull, there's a bit of a story behind that. So in the late 90s, probably about 1998, 1999, me and my brother were walking around to Blockbusters, and there on the floor was one of these. And it's just sitting there on the floor, and obviously we knew it was the Talon Fighter, and it didn't have Point Dread or anything. It was just that sitting on the floor. And then we looked around, and there, in the top of a skip, was Castle Grayskull, mint in its box. Had loads of the figures, absolutely loads of the figures as a kid, but I didn't ever have Castle Grayskull. And there it was, sitting in a skip in its box, complete. And there it is now. And there's my Snake Mountain. And there's a Grizzlaw up the top there. That's one of the more modern ones. And then that's from the 2000s cartoon. That's King Hiss. That's a modern Ram Bam. And then I have a really sad story about the Fright Zone. So I was clearing out my mum's loft a couple of years ago. And and in fact I got the Fright Zone, found it. It was like, I was really pleased. It had been tucked away, and I went to pick up the creature. There was a glove puppet creature that should go here, and it just literally crumbled in my hands like something out the end of The Last Crusade. It just disintegrated before my very eyes, and that was a very sad day because I quite like that glove puppet. And then there's Point Dread, and there's 2002 Bad, and the Land Shark. So I've got some other bits and bobs. I mean, I pick up He-Man stuff whenever I can. Got a very cool puzzle from the 80s. Do really, really like the art on that. And then down here, I've got Battle Bones. My wife actually got me that when we first got together. I think it was one of my first birthday presents from her. It might have been a Christmas present. But yeah, that's the Battle Bones. Super cool. And then if I just go downstairs, just have a couple of last bits. Not up there with the He-Man stuff for some reason. So here I've got, oh, it's really dark down here. So here I've got Spydor. So this kind of giant mechanical spider for Skeletor to ride on. So he's super, super cool. Super, super cool. And I love the art on the old He-Man boxes. And then I'm kind of like loath to move them, but behind these guys, I've got a Fright Fighter, which is, it's kind of like It's kind of like a giant, like a fly, except Skeletor flies in it. And then modern Land Shark, and then the modern Castle Grayskull. But yeah, my He-Man stuff. I love the art. Absolutely love the art. He-Man art was always good. Painted fantasy barbarian stuff. Thank you very much for looking. Take care.